Ireland's housing crisis? How have we gotten here? And how can we possibly get out of it? Well, let's do the modern thing. Let's ask Chat GPT. Well, as any of you know who watch this channel, all 6 of you, this is a thoroughly modern enterprise. We are at the cutting edge, or at least try to be, of what's going on, and try and stay on top of things in that manner. And as part, and as is the norm here, we are going to ask the new AI, Chat GPT, which many of you will be familiar with. You may have even used it. We're going to ask it about one of the really hot button topics, hot button issues in Ireland in the current day. Now, I will stress that the current iterations of ChatGPT, they are modelled only up as far as 2021. They're a closed box system, essentially. They are trained up to 2021 with information up to that. They are not connected live to the internet, at least not yet. There's a debate over how that's going to go when it does eventually, when they let it loose on the internet. So, with that said, I've been lucky enough to be allowed into the beta testing for ChatGPT 4, which it's not in full release, it's in beta testing at the moment. It's supposed to be a big move on from ChatGPT 3, which is the current iteration that's out there. And we're going to get into that now. Step into my office. We have our new friend and possible overlords, future overlords, ChatGPT AI here. Now let's just change the model up here to GPT-4. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, okay, add a message. I think I will. Let's get this show proverbially on the road. Now, okay, let's get into it. Okay, that looks reasonable. And we'll submit that. And we're off and running. ChatGPT is out of the gates and going. Right, assistant. Okay, in my opinion, ChatGPT is my assistant today. My worthy assistant of today is Mr. or Mrs. or Miss ChatGPT 4, no less. In my opinion, the causes of Ireland's current housing crisis are multifaceted. Okay, well, I could have said that. And can be attributed to a combination of factors, including number 1, economic recovery. The Irish economy has rapidly recovered from the financial crisis of 2008, leading to an increase in employment and population growth. This has created a high demand for housing, which has not been met by an adequate supply. Number 2, lack of housing supply following the financial crisis. The construction industry in Ireland was severely impacted. Oh, right, you've gone ahead of me now. You're still going. Can I get back up to the top here? Because you're zooming on ahead. This AI doesn't hold back. They can spit out letters. They can spit out novels, poems, jokes. Okay, right. Are we there? All right. Yes, we are. Right, now. Okay, number 2, lack of housing supply following the financial crisis. The construction industry in Ireland was severely impacted, resulting in a significant decline in the number of new houses built. The housing supply has been slow to recover, and the construction sector has not been able to keep up with the growing demand. That's absolutely true. 3, planning and regulatory restraints. Complex planning, zoning and building regulations have been cited as contributing factors to the slow development of new housing. Lengthy approval processes and bureaucratic red tape can result in delays in the construction of new homes. And that's absolutely true. Essentially, back in the day when we had this Celtic Tiger thing going here in Ireland, it was an economic miracle, at least that's how it was touted. And it was an economic miracle in the sense that it was a Ponzi scheme, effectively, or it became a Ponzi scheme as it went on. We were basically selling houses to each other. It was like a circular firing squad. Banks were giving away very easy money. Everybody was getting easy money, cheap money, at the drop of a hat, and they were all buying property with it. And then they were selling it to somebody down the road who was buying it 2, 3, 6 months, a year later for 20, 50,000 more than you paid for it. It was just great. It was get rich quick scheme in real time, and even ordinary people, like, this wasn't just confined to the oligarchs of Irish. Ordinary people, who would normally not be property landlords or landowners, they were all getting in it, because why not? The bank's giving you free money, not free money, but easy money, and you can easily jump on the bandwagon and flip it, make yourself some easy. But now that all obviously came to an end. It crashed. The whole thing, as Ponzi schemes do, they're great while they go. Everybody's getting loads of money out of it, and then eventually the whole thing falls apart. And that was the case with our situation here with regards to property. Now, what came out of that was the government stepping in, saying, "Oh, this is terrible," which was catastrophe, desperate times. We're going to go from what had been loose regulation, or what did they call it, light touch regulation, as in no regulation almost. We're going to go from that to the opposite, because in Ireland we never do anything by half. We never stop in the middle. We go from the Wild West to basically Orwell's 1984. That's Ireland. We go from one extreme to the other, and that's what they did with regulation. So essentially, they hyper-regulated everything. It just absolutely. It went from builders and developers essentially self-certifying themselves. Is that thing built right? Yeah, grand. Signing themselves. So they were signing their own certificates, basically, and that led to other problems with fire hazards and all kinds of dodgy stuff down the road. And they went from that. The government said that can never happen again. No, that will never happen again. So they basically regulated the thing out of existence, which then when they wanted people to start building again, they found that the regulations were so onerous. It was literally, you couldn't put a block on top of another block unless there was a clerk of works standing watching you do it. Cost about 10,000 quid a day. So the whole thing was just a mess. So yes, Chat GPT, you're right in the money there. Sorry, I got distracted, but by way of, I lived through this, so I kind of know a bit about it. Anyway, that's number 3, the regulatory constraints. Number 4, high construction costs. The cost of construction in Ireland is relatively high compared to other European countries, which can deter potential developers from investing in new housing projects, says ChatGPT. Number 5, land availability and land hoarding. Limited availability of land for development, as well as land hoarding by speculators or developers waiting for better market conditions, has constrained the development of new housing. And that's a thing. That is definitely a thing, because the thing is just going up on a trajectory like a rocket. Okay, maybe not the last rocket that Elon sent up. That didn't end well, but still, like most of his rockets, they just keep going up as they're supposed to. And that was the Irish house land and property prices at the moment. If you've got land that's zoned for building, accommodation and stuff like that, you're on a winner. The thing is just going to the moon. So if you can afford to hold off, well, why wouldn't you? Because the thing is only gaining in value. So yes, there is some hoarding going on. There's no question of that. And they're even talking about, the government is constantly floating this potential idea of taxing property developers who just hoard land and do nothing with it. They don't build any. Just get planning permission for some houses or apartments, and then they don't build them. They kind of let the clock run out. Then when their planning permission is nearly up, they put down some foundations or put a block up or some kind of hoarding or something. I think that's going on. So anyway, ChatGPT, you're doing okay so far. I can't fault you. Right, we'll go on. Number 6. This is a sticky one. Population growth and urbanisation. Ireland's population has grown steadily, I would say rapidly, over the last decade, and there has been a movement of people from rural to urban areas, further exacerbating the housing shortage in cities like Dublin, and that's absolutely true. We have essentially gone from a population of which it always was for most of my life of kind of floating around the 4 million mark, give or take, it's now zoomed up to 5 million. It's over 5 million now, and that's just in a few years. So population growth steadily, I'd say rapidly. Number 7, rent controls and social housing. Critics argue that rent controls in Ireland have disincentivised private landlords from renting out properties. I would agree with that. Anytime the government sticks its oar in, it's usually to a free market. It never ends well. I mean, it's done for virtuous reasons, but I have to say, a market, it kind of self-regulates to a degree. Now, it can get out of hand, as the Celtic Tiger, as one prime example. But when the government, which should be the referee on the pitch, that's my idea. The government should be the referee. But when the government starts scoring goals for one team, when the referee starts kicking the ball in the net for one, that's when the whole thing gets bent out of shape and things go horribly, horribly wrong. And I get it. It's often done from a virtuous idea. We got to help, and you should help. But then they go overboard and they stick the roar in, and what they're doing is they're jamming a wrench into the machine, and the machine breaks down. So yes, rent controls, I get it, I get why, and I get how. But what it meant was that basically they were capping. I mean, if you open a shop and the government steps in and says you can't make more than a tenner a week, then you just say, look, I can't be arsed, I'll just close the shop, go off, do something else. That a lot of landlords kind of said, look, leave us alone, or we don't have to do this, so we won't. So it disincentivized a lot of landlords from renting out properties, leading to a shortage of rental options. Additionally, a lack of investment and development of social housing has left many low-income households without affordable options. So basically, a lot of landlords just left. They just said, it's not worth the candle, I'm out of here. Number 8, access to finance. The aftermath of the financial crisis tightened lending requirements for both developers and potential homeowners, making it more difficult for them to finance new projects or secure mortgages. Overall, the housing crisis is a complex issue with multiple contributing factors addressing the challenge will require a comprehensive and coordinated approach from both the public and private sector, says Chat GPT. Now, okay, I want to go on from that. That's its synopsis of how we've gotten here, and I tend to agree. There's other issues there probably thrown in that I would put in, but still, it's not a bad stab. Right, so in my opinion, says ChatGPT, solving Ireland's housing crisis will require a multifaceted approach involving various stakeholders, including the government, private sector, local communities. Some potential solutions could include: number 1, increase housing supply. Encourage and incentivise the construction of more residential properties, especially in high-demand areas, to meet the growing demand for housing. This could include easing planning and regulatory constraints, streamlining the approval process and reducing red tape. Making sense so far. Number 2, develop affordable and social housing. Increase investment in social and affordable housing to cater to the needs of low-income households. This could involve public-private partnerships, government subsidies, and innovative financial models to accelerate the development of affordable housing projects. Okay, I still can't fault it. Number 3, revise planning and zoning regulations. Reform planning and zoning regulations to facilitate higher density and mixed-use developments, especially in urban areas. This can help create more efficient and sustainable urban environments while maximising the use of available land. Number 4, address land hoarding. Implement measures to discourage land hoarding and promote the more efficient use of land, such as through the use of vacant site levies, better land use regulations, or compulsory purchase orders to free up land for development. Okay, when you get into the whole compulsory purchase thing, Yeah, it's kind of, you're into a tricky area there. Number 5, review construction costs. Examine and address factors contributing to high construction costs in Ireland. This could involve reviewing building standards, processes and materials to identify possible cost-saving measures and streamlining the construction process. Okay, 6. Number 6, improve access to finance. Promote policies and programs that facilitate access to finance for both developers and potential homeowners, such as loan guarantee schemes, low interest loans and relaxed lending requirements. Okay, again, you know, the whole Celtic Tiger thing was a lot of that, and it didn't end well. Anyway, Chat GPT, you're throwing it out there, you're getting in there, you're getting stuck in there. Right, fair enough. 7. Rent regulation reform. Re-evaluate rent control policies to ensure they strike a balance between protecting tenants and incentivising landlords to supply rental properties. And this is, I think this is right in the money here. You have to have a balance. If the thing goes out of balance, which it often does because governments get stuck in and then essentially just crock the whole machine, they're a wrench in the thing for virtuous reasons or for vote-getting reasons. But anyway, you know, the market has a kind of an equilibrium. Now, that can go very pear-shaped too. Don't get me wrong. The government should be the referee on the pitch, but it shouldn't be scoring goals for either team. It should be the referee. Anyway, let's move on. Number 8, enhance regional development. Promote balanced regional development to reduce the pressure on housing in major cities. Encourage the growth of smaller towns and rural areas by improving infrastructure, connectivity, and employment opportunities. That's number 8. Number 9, foster innovation in housing design and construction. Support and incentivise the adoption of innovative construction techniques such as modular or off-site construction, as well as energy efficient and sustainable building practices. And number 10, engage in long-term planning. Develop comprehensive long-term housing strategies that consider future population growth, demographic changes and economic development to ensure that the housing supply meet future demands. Solving Ireland's housing crisis will not be an easy task and will require significant efforts from all stakeholders involved. However, a well-coordinated and comprehensive approach to addressing these challenges could help alleviate the situation and improve housing affordability and availability for all residents. Well, there you go, Chat GPT. Take it away. I think you'll agree. It's talking a lot of sense there. Now, I might be able to pick a few holes here and there. I'll pick up, and everybody would probably say, yeah, well, I agree with most of it, but kind of a couple of things there that could go a bit wrong. But still, I mean, that's AI, that's artificial intelligence. You're watching it there in real time, and you're watching it there deal, or at least, give its 2 cents worth about an actual human problem that's happening in real time today in this very country, and that's its take on it. So, as I said, the whole AI thing is just leaping ahead at a frightening rate, and there it is. You've seen it in action. You throw it a question and it gives you a point by point, and I could have gone in there and interrogated it more and more and more and more on any of those points or all of those points, and it would keep refining it. It would keep digging in. It's a hell of a piece of kit, and I think this is you're watching the future unfold. Chat GPT, you may not have heard of it so far. Well, you've heard of it now, but you're certainly going to hear a lot more about it in the coming weeks, months and years. Of that, you can have no fear.